Hello everyone, it's your mate Biggie and it's story time. Now I see other YouTubers do these story time videos. Basically they just tell stories of random shit that they've done or have had done to them. And I thought, why not do that? I'm super original. So today I'm going to be talking about all the times that I've crashed my moped. I don't think I've ever actually told any single person about all the times I've crashed because it's really embarrassing, but screw it. It's been a few years now. So once upon a time I had a 50cc scooter, you know, typical moped thing. Mum got it for me so I could drive myself around while she was overseas. I had a good few years on that thing, I really enjoyed it. But I also had quite a few accidents on it. I think the first one I had, basically what happened is I was at my ex's house. She wasn't my ex at the time. I was about 17 I think at this point. And the funny thing was that her mum was actually looking at getting her a scooter of her own so she could drive herself around. After basically they saw how independent I could be with my scooter. Just when they were getting to the point of deciding, yeah, maybe we should get her one, that's when I had my first accident. I was in the driveway, and I wasn't facing out of the driveway, I was facing towards the fence basically, and I just turned the scooter on and I just waved goodbye. I pulled on the accelerator, I pulled it a bit too hard and I panicked. And naturally when I panicked, instead of pulling the brake, I just pulled the acceleration harder and I went straight into the fence. Well, not even the fence, the tree that was in front of the fence. This tree was quite small too, it was probably about 6 foot high maybe. So it was quite a young tree and I actually managed to knock it on an angle. And I also did some damage to my knuckle, which is still scarred today, you probably can't see it. After that point I always drove with gloves. It was quite funny though, because her mum was I guess on my side. So they never told her dad about the accident and me crashing into the tree. I distinctly remember one afternoon when I was over at their place and her dad was saw the tree and was like, that tree's on a bit of a lean, that's a bit strange. And we're all sitting there like, yep, that is strange, they don't know how that could have happened at all. That was my first accident. It was very minor, didn't really do any damage to the actual scooter itself. This brings us to our second accident. This one was the worst one that I had. At this point I had a friend who had a motorcycle and we would go on rides together around town. Just in the 50k zone because of course my scooter couldn't go anything above 50. And we were riding around a bit of town that I hadn't been in before basically, so I didn't know the road. So I was speeding around some blind corners, you know, still going the speed limit because I couldn't go over it. When suddenly I came around a corner and there was a T intersection and I didn't have enough time to stop. I saw the fence and I was like, shit, I'm not going to be able to turn in time. I just went straight into the fence. Now, this fence wasn't very high, about this far off the ground, and then there was just one log. It was just a small, I guess, kind of barrier. My scooter got lodged underneath the barrier, and at the force that I hit it, I somersaulted over the top of it. My knees clanged together as I hit the fence, which caused some bruising, and I somersaulted a couple times through the air, landed on my head, and slid across the ground. And in that moment where I was just lying on the ground, and holy crap, that was awesome! Although when I came to my senses it wasn't so fun. I was so full of adrenaline I didn't really know what to think. We spent a good maybe 10 to 20 minutes trying to get my scooter out from underneath the fence because it was so lodged in there because I hit it at such a high speed. My friend ended up... Fortunately at that time, some other friends were staying. Fortunately at the time, there were a couple of other friends who were staying at my motorcycle friend's house. So at that point he rode back to his house, got their car, drove to where I was. We managed to dislodge the scooter, get it in the back of the car. Can't really remember what happened after that, but I know I had to go get it fixed and it cost me about $500. This scooter was only worth $2 brand new, so it was quite a lot. And I was so embarrassed I didn't want to tell my mum that I crashed the scooter, so I just paid for it out of my pocket and then hid the receipt. Sorry mum, there was quite a lot of damage done to my scooter at that point. But when I first got on it after the repairs, I was as nervous as hell, basically. I was so nervous I was actually shaking. And I had a near miss that day. First day back on my scooter, I'm driving through town. I reach a intersection and basically I have right of way. So I just keep driving naturally. Now what happened is someone actually pulled out in front of the car in front of me and it had to brake suddenly. I didn't have enough time to stop, so I had to maneuver around the car in front of me, otherwise I was going to hit it. So that was a very near miss. Didn't help with my nerves, not at all. I think the next time I crashed my scooter, basically my brother had a motorbike as well, and we were both leaving the driveway. I'm sure he'll remember this. Basically he pulled out of the driveway and I thought, you know, being competitive, be a bit funny, I would pull out in front of him. I would try to cut in front of him across the grass and get out in front of him. When I cut across the grass, my scooter slid. It slid out from under me and I went sliding out onto the road. It was fine. The scooter just got a bit of cosmetic damage, so everything was fine. Now the fourth time I crashed my scooter. So I'm just editing this video now and I've just realised that for some reason the camera cut off half of the story. I was out with a couple mates just out of town. We were fishing for eels. Just a bit of fun to pass the time. We didn't catch anything. It was a part of town, or I guess out of town, that I hadn't been in before. Again, I didn't know the road. I was too cocky. I was the last person to leave, and as I was leaving I went a bit fast around a corner. On the side of the road there was a ditch, and I came around the corner and I'm sitting there like, don't crash into the ditch, don't crash into the ditch, don't crash into the ditch. I went straight into the ditch. This ditch was quite deep, so getting my scooter out of there was a bit of a mission. I was just lucky that someone pulled over and got out of his car and helped me remove it from the ditch so I could drive it home. Overall, I had some great times on that scooter, but if you're going to drive a moped or a motorbike, be careful and don't panic. Learn from my mistakes. But that's all for today. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe and I will see you on Monday. Cheers!